Welcome to a beautiful late summer morning, early autumn, call it what you will, here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, just outside Valencia. The hills making a beautiful backdrop here, and what a circuit it is. 15 turns knitted into possibly the tightest patch you can. Track temperatures, I tell you what, it was warm yesterday afternoon, already not quite 9 o'clock, nearly 25 degrees, beautiful, 22 degrees, 25 degrees track temperature. That will continue to rise, but really it's all about setting the stage for the final two sprint rounds, the fifth round of sprints for 2025. And Joe Osborne will talk you around the circuit.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lap here in Valencia, a natural amphitheatre, and that's where we squeeze this 4-kilometre, 14-corner circuit in very tight, very twisty on the infield. Second gear for the majority of those infield corners. Tricky turn 12, the circuit map making it look flat, but that flies uphill, and we'll see cars skip through the gravel on the exit of 12, start of 13. So qualifying, very important here. Qualifying as well, track limits will be prevalent, I'm afraid. The nature of this being a predominantly motorbike circuit allows for flat exit curves.
Well, it's a circuit from which you can get a fantastic view. If you stand on top of the pit building, you can see almost each of the 15 corners. But as Joe points out, so many opportunities to get it slightly wrong. The lap times are going to be very tight around here. It's just a whisker over 4 kilometres, and grid position is going to be absolutely everything. This is the championship finale. Look at those points, just 1.5 points between the Team WRT BMW crew of Kelvin van der Linde and Charles Weerts and Benji Goethe and Marvin Kerfocher in the Garage 59 McLaren, and still with an outside chance, Sven Muller and Patrick Niederhauser just behind. Look, Lucas Auer, Maro Engel, it's super, super tight. 9.5 points cover the top 4 crews. We've got 35 points still to play for. 16.5 points for victory in each of the rounds. 1 point for pole. So you can imagine every single point that can be accrued is critical. Track position, even in qualifying, is going to be vital.
Massively so, and so many cars, 40 cars on this sprint grid. They've had to split them in qualifying, so we'll have our Q1A and B. We've seen it previously already this year. So Q1A will be our pro and gold, and then Q1B, will be our silver and bronzes, but still track position will be difficult. 17 cars and 23 cars in each of those sessions respectively.
And again, talking about the colours of the metal, we've got the 4 classes. The overall, we've got the gold, the silver and bronze classes. This is a 4th place in the championship at the moment. Lugi Auer is sitting on board. That's the Windward Racing Man Filter Mercedes. They're 4th in the top championship, just 1 point behind 3rd, but super, super close. As I said, 9.5 points with 35 to play for cover the top 4 crews in the pro class. I don't think it's ever been closer. When you go down to the gold class, it's only a 2.5 point margin that Chris Lallum and Thierry Vermeulen enjoy. In silver, it's slightly larger. It's 6 points for Jamie Day and Kobe Powles. And in bronze, well, it's really a battle between 2 crews, and they've got a margin of 6.5 points. Dustin Blattner and Dennis Marshall at the top of the pile ahead of Bastien Boos and Basha Mardini. But as Joe was pointing out, split down the middle. Pros and gold will go out in this first session, so that will have 17 cars spread across that battle. 12 in the top class, 5 in the second. We'll be talking about the crews, Joe, at the very top, but there's no reason why some of the other crews, like includes the Cook Mitchell Lamborghini crew, shouldn't put one over them in qualifying. Absolutely no reason at all.
Yeah, exactly. When you've got the championship off you, suddenly you can perform to your highest ability. And talking of highest ability performance, Benji Goethe this year has been unreal. Big step forward. Obviously, Marvin Kershaw, his teammate, has taken a lot of the plaudits, quite rightly, for some phenomenal qualifying laps and good race stints. But his race stints, Benji Goethe, some of the pressure he's had behind him, and he hasn't faltered yet. And that is why that Garage 59, number 59 car is in the championship hunt.
Yeah, I think the ultimate proof of that wasn't so much what we saw at Manucor, it was what we saw the round before at Misano, when that ultimate pressure, and he came through to take that first win for the crew by the smallest of margins, but he did the job. Jake Dennis, he's always going to be quick in whatever he's driving, so we'll look out for him. But just look up at that pit lane, 40 cars lined up, tip-top presentation, absolutely brilliant. The stage, I say, is absolutely set. It's a wonderful morning, but it does get very hot here, even as we are towards the end of September. So these track conditions will be very different from when they go out, certainly for the second of the races. But lined up, waiting to go. There are only 10-minute qualifying sessions. As we say, the gold and the pro and the gold go out first. That's 9 o'clock till 10 past. Then just 5 minutes later, 9:15 to 9:25, is the turn of the silver and bronze classes. And that will be a little busier with 23 crews. 3rd place in the championship, Patrick Niederhauser. You know, they've been going super well all season long. And Rutronic Racing, really a team that's going from strength to strength. And, you know, not so long ago, you'd go like this, you'd say, Niederhauser, Audi. So many years with Audi, but he's really taken to running with the Porsches. And, you know, the points aren't telling a lie, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd say the car's struggled with pace in the races. It's really the pit stops from Utronic that have kept them in the hunt, one of the fastest on the tyre changes. That's so important in this series. The 10 car here from Boots and VDS started the year steady, would be my review, and then suddenly have unlocked some pace and almost been the fastest Mercedes team now between them and Winward, the 48 car that's obviously in the championship mix as well. We can see some of the Audis as well here from Santalok. Don't discount them as well. We weren't here in 2024, but in 2023 that was a very, very quick car around this circuit.
Well, it certainly was. And some of the conclusions, some of the final laps we've had here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo over the years, you think it's all in the bag, but someone's in a chase. And with 15 corners around the lap, there is a chance when under pressure to crack and also a chance to attack. But track position, not just to get your lap in qualifying, but when you've done the qualifying and where you start on the grid is really, really going to be vital here. They'll suddenly long for the wide open spaces of Magny-Cours. This is a very, very different circuit.
Yeah, I suspect we're going to have 25, possibly 30 cars covered by 1 second by the end of the combined qualifyings. So if you make one mistake, 2 or 3 tenths, gone. That might be the difference between 6 to 10 places. 2 of those mistakes, a lap that could have put you inside the top 5, top 6, maybe it's going to be 30th. That's how brutal this is going to be. And we know the Pirelli tyre very, very quick when it's brand new. I think you've got 2 laps here before it drops off. And we've seen that a lot this year where cars don't rush out at the start of the session. And that's why we've nearly done 3 minutes of this session without a single car venturing out. Everyone wants the first car to go out, go and clean the circuit. This is the first session of the day. It's not rained overnight, but just the dust that settles. And finally, we get someone that blinks. It looks like the Valkenhurst Aston Martin is going to make its way down pit lane. And suddenly, they've got the whole circuit to themselves. Villagomez there aboard the car. Have to be careful on pit exit here. Very long white line. Actually, Jake Dennis crossed that yesterday in pre-qualifying, got a fine and a reprimand. 10-minute stop-go as well, so pretty brutal. So at the moment, this looks perfect for Valkenhurst, right? They've got the whole circuit to themselves, but cars will start to filter on circuit as we see Charles Wirtz doing that second car out on track. Remember, there'll be 17 cars in this Q1A session.
She'll be able to work it. You can actually see from the TV angle there is a climb out of turn 1. You get up to the top of the hill at turn 2, and effectively over this the face of this gentle slope, the track is going up and down the slope and round and round. 15 turns fitted into an area that you would normally have half of a race circuit. We've got it in its entirety. Giant grandstands in the background. Certainly ambitious when building those. They were building this though for bike racing. This is very much the essence, of course, in Spain. It's always been about bike racing. And you know, if you sit up there, you've got a stunning view down over the circuit. But looking right now, yeah, doing exactly what it's suggesting. Warming the tyres, cleaning the circuit a little bit. We're nearly halfway through this session. Only 2 cars on track. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more, 5 more have just come out of the pits. They have to scramble because, as you say, they've only got probably 2 good flying laps out of these tyres, but they've got to get those in. Yeah,
and the teams will be talking, especially to Wirtz there, just saying pit exit busy. So in Sector 3, he will start to back up. As we ride on board with the Porsche Flat 6, a lovely way to wake up on a Saturday morning. Winward still not blinking. Tyres on the car. The car will drop in the next 10 to 15 seconds as the mechanic does up the single hub wheel nut, the captive nut on that wheel. So here's Wirtz coming into the last corner. He'll go in deep. He'll corner and try and get the exit as fast as he can. Careful of track limits. Your track limits here on the exit. You lose the next lap as well. Very legal, but look at those cars. Ominous in the background there, leaving pit lane.
Right, championship leader Charles Wirtz has got one job to do this morning, and it's to try and put in the best lap he possibly can. First couple of rows, but let's make life simple. Be fastest. That's absolutely what you need to be at this circuit. And Charles Wirtz has been there, seen it, done it. But now what's he got? He's got a whole gaggle of cars starting their out lap. He's on his first flyer.
It's the second time coming into 2. I've seen like a puff of smoke or moisture as the car goes across the curb. These cars on their outlaps, like you said, Bruce, Charles Wirtz, that's why he's flashing his headlights. He's like, guys, I'm not on an outlap. I need you to get out of the way. He won't want to get in his way and get done for impeding, but likewise, they're on their own program. They're trying to find space. Purple Sector 1, of course, because we're the second car through the lap. Only Villagomez is ahead of us, pushing at the moment. Mitchell jumps out the way nicely in the Lamborghini, but the Emil Frey car there still weaving to get tyre temp, and they won't want to get out of the way at the start of their fly.
No, absolutely not. I think that was very good of Sandy Mitchell. He understands the bigger game, doesn't want to be blocked on his flying lap when he comes around, but moves out of the way. So riding on board with Charles Wirtz, championship leader, and looking to get the pace. And the sun's still quite low, getting definitely in the driver's face as they come down the slope. And this is not what he wants, a car weaving around in front of him as he tries to focus on yet another right-hander, again going up the slope, coming up to another corner where track limits are an issue.
Yeah, and you can see Vermeulen in front, definitely not going to let him through. He's lost the purple sector 1 as well to Fleming at the moment. He's backed out of it quite wisely, so he's trying to find his space. Of course, he was on a lap, but he's decided already, I know I can beat that. He went in deep, very deep into 11. And I wonder if the sun in his eyes slightly lost his braking point there. Very easily done here in the early morning. So Wirtz will go again. That lap obviously good enough for a second at the moment, but a 1:34, which was actually taken away straight away for track limits. And we said it was going to be prevalent, exit of turn 1. So he lost the lap. Maybe he knew that and he backed out of it for that reason too.
Yeah, it could well be. So after the first few cars are going through, we've only got one flying lap on the board. Mateo Villagomez, the Walkenhorst Motorsport Aston Martin, 1 minute 33.198. So this is extraordinary. This is something historic. We believe this is the first live lap and a live session anywhere in the world where a drone is going to go around with the car. And the car in the star in the car is Lugiauer. What a fantastic shot, Joe.
This is brilliant, isn't it? This is what you want as a driver. When I say Charles Wirtz misses an apex, you can see Lugiauer there doesn't get on top of the curb at turn 4, 85 kilometers an hour through there. This drone's good for 300 kilometers an hour, so we'll be able to stay all the way around this circuit. Car diving in lovely. You can see the front end, slight bit of understeer. I can see a lot of slip angle, keeps it legal on the limit. Let's duck under the gantry now. We've got to pick our braking point into turn 8. Easy to go in deep here, but it is a double apex, so you tend to let the car run wide, which Luke Howes does, but doesn't get the second one. Someone's kicked up the gravel in front through this flat out chicane now, and again hard on the brakes, second gear. This is where Wirtz went in deep. What's Lucas Howes' line like? The FPV drone here giving us great illustration of the racing line. The racing line is that cleaner part of the tarmac where you see the darker rubber. That's where people have gone wrong. The clean line is where the drivers are placing their outside wheels. That's where gravel will get kicked up. One more break to go for Lucas Howes. Where's the lap time going to be? It's been a strong lap thus far. He hasn't had traffic. Expect this to be maybe in the low 32s as he powers out the last corner. Keeps it legal because we've got a great bird's eye view of it. Down this pit straight, we'll get up to 250 kilometers an hour. He's going to break the beam any second now. And it's a 1:33, puts him 12th. Wasn't it a great final sector?
Well, that's absolutely extraordinary. Talk about being able to see the dynamics of the car in a way you never can. And that has just been fantastic. There's nowhere a driver can hide if you're being followed by a drone. Anyhow, more of that later. So what we've got is Alessia Rivera, top of the pile by, well, an enormous margin at this point, over a third of a second ahead from Tom Fleming and Arthur Leclerc. So it's Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, but some of the big guns have got to get it right. What's left on the clock? Just 1.5 minutes. Wow. So here's the fastest car, and again, going slightly faster on this lap. So will we get down into the 1 minute 30s? Not quite. 1 minute 31.189. So that's 2 really, really good laps from the AF Corsa Francorchamps Motors Ferrari. Nice and neat and tidy. I'd say for them, that's job done. But Tom Fleming, just 0.2 of a second down in second place.
Yeah, and everyone's on their last lap. They're starting now. Jens Klingman, purple sector 3. So the BMW has got some pace as we see Luca Engler here, 4th at the moment. Strong sector 1. Sector 2's okay. Don't be alarmed by the orange background. It's not too far off. This is somewhere in the mix. I don't think it's good enough for fastest unless this Lambo has mega drive out this last corner. I think this is going to be top 4 at the moment. Lucas Howes on the timer screen. That yellow Mercedes we're following from the drone, fastest of anyone in sector 1.
Just waiting for 32 to cross the line. That's the championship leading car from 9th up to 6th place, but 0.6 of a second down for Charles Wirtz. Of course, the lap time from this session is going to be combined with the one for the second qualifying session. Then we'll work out who is on pole. I said that Charles Wirtz and his teammate Kelvin van der Linde, championship leaders, but only by a small margin. They need to be in the first couple of rows. Yeah,
let's see where my prediction is at the moment. So Wirtz at the moment 6.5 tenths off. I think that's going to be somewhere like 15th, 16th by the end of Q1B session as we see the McLarens fly across the line. Benji Goethe in 5th place at the moment, but really Rivera's the man, isn't he? Here's Jens Klinsmann, I mentioned a while ago, kicking up the gravel. He was fastest in sector 3, so the BMW is good in this very short final sector. Good on the brakes. The brake zone here, downhill and curving away. We've missed the apex there. The front tyre's given up, it would seem, on the Almanar 777 car. He's going to cross the line now. Checker flag is out. This is his last chance to improve. 9th at the moment, stays 9th as well. So difficult qualifying for the 777 Almanar car.
Absolutely. So just waiting for time. But, well, Lugiauer pulled it out. We saw him followed around by that on-board lap. Well, on-board, above-board totally above board. But second place for the Mercedes of the championship, fourth in the championship, and they're in the mix. But a car that's not in the championship, Natalie Rivera, Abril, Ferrari, top of the pile for now. Is anybody going to pick up the pace as they come on round? Tom Fleming looking as though he's going to put another lap in, but track limits have not been everybody's friends, so some quick times have been taken away. Constable Lapalainen did not improve. 11th place for him. Tom Fleming goes into second place, just 0.119 of a second down. Now, Benji, what can we get from the Garage 59 McLaren? Down the hill it goes.
Fleming's
Where is that going to place?
Yeah, we're looking at Goethe, but the timing screen there for Fleming we'll keep an eye on too. Goethe will be distinctly average with this quali, 5th, but the 4/10 off is the problem. He's going to break the beam. Now, does he go any quicker? He does not. This is the car on the timing screen that's got a chance, I think, of getting inside the top 4. How's the final sector? How are those tyres hung on for Tom Fleming? He crosses the line and doesn't seem to improve on that one. He goes 3rd overall, on the overall. We're looking at the pro on the timing tower. So he goes 1st in class, 3rd overall.
Tight. I could run down the number of those who've had their best laps taken away for corner infringements, but I'll be going for quite a while. We predicted that beforehand, about 6 points around the circuit. But for our championship leader, the tyres they got was 6th place, but they've tumbled down to 13th for Charles Weerts. Remember that first lap he had to back out of, and effectively that, I think, really spiked his gun. Thereafter, he worked the traffic well, but clearly something amiss. And as you said here, if you're not in the first 2 or 3 rows, you are really on the back foot. So for his teammate Kelvin van der Linde, he's going to have to pull out the lap of all laps to get him up towards the front.
Yeah, and this is the lead boots have already been fastened for this BMW in race 1. That is the best they're going to start. And when we mix in the other half of the field, we saw them on the timing tower on your pictures of the pro class. But when you combine that with the gold that were out there as well, that's how we get their 13th place position. And there's a few names around him that I'm surprised by. Sandy Mitchell only 15th. 2 places behind. Maxime Martin only just ahead. So Rivera really the man of the session. 10th clear from Tom Fleming in the end. So someone lost their track limits at the end of that session as well, because he went up from 3rd to 2nd overall.
Yeah, I mean, having just 10 minutes to get it right means it's very one mistake and you're already on the back foot. 2 mistakes and you're going to be outside the top 10, and that's what we've seen. Charles Weerts had a time taken away from him early on, but he's ended up 6/10 of a second down. But bragging rights to Alessio Rivera and Ferrari. And Tom Fleming, young British driver, really good job for him with the Garage 59 McLaren. Lugiauer, again, he was late out. We followed him around the circuit with that brilliant drone tracking. He's ended up 3rd, just 0.2 of a second roughly down on the pace. But the initial pace has to be added by the following session when we get the pro and gold cars out again. A short breathing space for them, but this is serious stuff on a track that really brooks no compromise whatsoever. So the break is not a long one, just 5 minutes.
Race control to all teams. This is just a quick radio check. No need to reply to this one.
Okay, so the teams have so many things to think about, but also, the connection to race control. So one could already look down and start to think, how has that worked in terms of championship positions for the pros and the golds? But before we even have a chance to do that, the simple thing is to say the championship leading car has a mountain to climb. Down in 13th place, Charles Weerts, handing over to Kelvin van der Linde, who was not looking full of the joys of spring as he sat in the pit garage. Last few cars just coming into the pits now. They'll be parked up, and then the cars from the silver and bronze classes will come out, 23 of those, so that's going to mean track space is even more vital, Joe. Yeah,
6 more cars, and we've just seen it wasn't particularly quiet, was it? And the problem with Weerts there, he's going to filter down outside the top 20. That's after having a dominant weekend at Suzuka, just gone for Intercontinental GT, the 1000K race at Suzuka, where they led pretty much every lap of the race. Here we see another BMW, this time the parody car, Janssen Houston there, ready to get going. I think we need to keep out a look for some cars to maybe beat Rivera's overall time. I think Dennis Marshall's going to be very quick in the Kessel. Bastian Boos, line speed. Porsche, Ricardo Feller in another line speed. Maybe Jake Dennis in one of those parodying BMW. Cesar Gazzo. There's a lot of cars, I think, that's going to upset the apple cart in Q1B.
Well, let's go down and hear from the man who so far is fastest, Alessio Rivera.
Alessio, a vital weekend, big points earner, and you put it in the best position so far. That was a great lap.
Yeah, not so great, I have to say. I did a mistake in T1, and especially in the first sector was not amazing. So I'm a bit worried about the second qualifying, because I think there is more potential in lap time. But still, yeah, to be P1 is fine. I think we will have a penalty of 5 position for race 1, which on this type of track is vital, because starting P1 is something else. But yeah, we will try our best to fight still for the championship. Thank you.
That's what you do when you've done a stunning lap. Just go, actually, it really wasn't my best at all. But, you know, that's how it goes.
Race drivers can never be happy as well, and the penalty from Nürburgring for contact in the race, of course. So that's where a mistake hurts. You make a mistake in the race, which was did not finish at Nürburgring, which then has been a reprimand there. Here we see the 97 car deciding to get out early. Ethan Perez there being the first man for qualifying Q1B. So this is our second of 4 qualifying sessions this morning as we see this beautiful Spanish sunrise. 125,000 seats here, Bruce. If you want to go and try them all, it might take some time.
Get a bit of a sore backside and all that concrete up above. But Isham Perez, well, the track is his own. It's like a private test day, but the clock is nobody's friend because it's already counting down from 10 minutes. 1.5 minutes gone. And as we saw in that first session, of course, he'll be coming around to start his flying lap in the Rutronic car that he shares with Luke Hartog, one of many, many drivers who were with you last weekend in the Suzuka 1,000 kilometers. So they should have got over the jet lag, but right now, placing the car around the corners. Also just a feeling he knows track limit's going to be an issue. He's already would have watched that first session with, you know, half an eye because he knew he was getting in to start this session. At least at this moment, he can place the car, take a look, get a feel. Every morning, every day, different. I mean, it's very hard to explain, Joe, to people who haven't raced cars, don't understand the nature of tyres, how different just a few degrees can be in the morning session.
There's just so many variables at play. That's the problem. You think everything should be the same car, same tyre, but every time you've just got to feel it through your fingertips. And you can see the wheel work going on there. Huge snap of oversteer. Looking clear on pit exit, so he'll be happy. The 85 car there, the Lamborghini just making its way out in front. That should get out the way by the mid part of this lap. But what can this Rutronic Porsche do? I get Rivera's hesitancy to be happy. Our qualifying lap record is a 30.4, so he's 8/10 off that. So I think someone's going to get in the 30s. Which car do I think it's going to be? My money would be on Dennis Marshall in the Kessel Ferrari. They're in the championship hunt, of course, in their own bronze class there as well. But at the moment, let's look at Ethan Perez. It's been a good start to lap so far in terms of track limits. The drivers need to know where the track limits are, so they're told in the driver's briefing from Niels Vitic. The good drivers, good teams, then look at the timing screen to see where they were getting their laps taken away from drivers in the previous qualifying. This is a hot spot there. Keeps it legal. One tyre must always be in contact with the circuit. The circuit's the black stuff and the white line. That's the rule.
Now, for the Sri Lankan driver, Isham Perez and Rutronic Racing, I'd say the cards have fallen very nice. It's always a gamble if you're the first one out, but he hasn't got anybody right across the nose of his car. In fact, they're about 2 corners ahead. So no excuses. This is the lap that you really don't want to blow. Your next flying lap could well be cars in front of you, but right now, Isham Perez has got to maybe back off just a tiny bit, just ensure that on the tighter corners where you're really being watched, that he keeps it clean. One thing I really noticed, Joe, when you got round to the final sweep, when we had that amazing drone shot above, how slow the final corner is. I mean, the drone almost took the car, but that corner, of course, you're positioning it to get on the start-finish straight. This is it now, slowing it, and it suddenly seems like the corner tightens as you get onto the straight.
Yeah, it's got a kink in, it's downhill, it's off camber, it's everything you don't want as a driver. Where's this lap going to be? It's a 1:32.8. Fastest overall in this session, obviously, at the moment, because we're the only car that set a lap. But when we put that on the combined times, that's just outside the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think that's a neat, easy job. Right, a new crew this weekend, if you will. They've raced together before. This is Rodrigo Almeida, and he's sharing with Jess Hawkins, Come To You Racing Aston Martin. They did the Spa 24 Hours together, but dipping their toe in the sprint racing pond. The final 2 races, the championship, round 5 of the sprint series for 2025. And they're having a look, maybe for next year, but great to have them on board, bringing us up to 40 cars this weekend. That's a lot of cars. Right, this is the one we were going to look at. Car 74 leading the bronze category, Dustin Blattner and Dennis Marshall, but it's Dennis on board at the moment. They've got a 6.5 point championship lead in the bronze class. No, 7.5. Do your maths right, Jones. Ahead of Boos and Mardini, but Dennis Marshall, now we're going above again. So we treated you once, we'll treat you twice. Let's take a look at the handling of this car, Joe.
This is going to be interesting. We saw the Mercedes of Lucas Auer earlier, the Winwood Man filter car. This will be the Ferrari. So we had a front engine car. Now we've got a mid-engine car. That was right on the limit for track limits here. Here's another track limit hotspot on the exit of turn 4. Gets onto the apex curb much better than the Mercedes that we were following earlier. Same here. The apex curb really hooks up the front. It's like getting your fingertips on some super glue. Suddenly it all hooks up and life is easy. Purple sector 1 at the moment. That is only in Q2B. That's not overall. And you can see that's just had the margin taken away. So it's a competitive first sector, but maybe not quick enough yet for Marshall. Into this double apex left, gets a second apex. Again, much nicer than the Mercedes. No track limits on the exit, so that wasn't legal. We didn't see anything at all there, officer. All good. Here, big brake, rotate the car, take the brake in, get on the throttle hard, use that mid-engine traction of this Ferrari 296 GT3. 550 horsepower or so. Up the hill at 12. Use lots of apex curb, but careful it doesn't bounce you into the gravel trap. We saw that with Jens Klidman there. All good. One more brake. As a driver here, you're just thinking, don't mess up, don't mess up. You've got to pick your braking point. This is the corner you're talking about, Bruce. It's hard, it's downhill, off camber, late apex. Important not to run wide. Important to get good exit. Which one's the most important? Is the lap time, which is about to be now. Can it be in the 1:30s? Oh, close. It's fastest overall. 800ths off that 1:30. So that goes pole. You can see nearly 2/10 to Rivera. Great lap, Dennis Marshall.
Right, best lap before that in this session was good for 8th overall. That's Loris Spinelli in his Lamborghini, but that has knocked him down. But we've got 2 cars from the lower classes, if you will, the silver and bronze in the top 10. Bastian Boos just got 2nd overall. Well, you dipped in the hat, you pulled out 2 names, and you're spot on the top of the charts. And of course, they are the sort of the higher ranked driver in these bronze pairings. But we've got 2 bronze cars at the top. Nobody yet in the 1:30. Surely we'll get a lap there in the next session. Well, not the next session, because these cars come straight back out. They swap over the drivers and come out again, and then our pros and gold class runners will come out last of all and see what they can do. And that gives a little bit more breathing space for Kelvin Van Linde to work out where exactly he could go, because at the moment the outright championship leading car, Charles Wirtz, has set the time in the first session. It was good for 13th in session 1. However, it's only down to 21st position at the moment, 8/10 of a second down on average. Wow.
Great lap from Chief there, goes 4th, and the onboard showing the nature of the 296. We followed Dennis Marshall's one. This one, different team. This is from Ziggo Sport Tempesta, but the rear very active. You can see Eddie Cheever at the 3rd here, working at the wheel hard.
Now, what's on stake in this? It's not just about getting the pole position to get track position. It's the extra point, and all the championship classes, everybody challenging could do with that extra point. We've got super for close competitions in the outright sprint points for the pros. Just 1.5 points between them. You get one. And, well, I said Jake Dennis ago, well, again, we're having the top 10 peppered with cars from the classes lower down. Ricardo fellas in there, Eddie Cheever Jr., Bastian Boos, and top of the pile, 1:30.883. Dennis Marshall has hit the target that we set him. I don't know why we're setting targets, but it's a nice number to get down to.
What can Jake Dennis do? This is going to be close. I don't think it's going to be sub 1:31, but it's going to be somewhere inside the top 4. Can he be the fastest BMW? Jake Dennis here, teammate to Darren Lund in this Paradine 991 BMW M4 GT4 Evo. He's going to cross the line now. It's a 1:31, goes 4th. Good lap there from Jake Dennis. So 4th in his class, and 8th overall.
So we've got 3 bronze class cars in the top 4 positions. Quite outstanding, but don't forget, all the time the track is cleaning up, a bit more rubber going down. Certainly the first of the sessions ought to have been the slowest. Now again, we're trying to knit 23 cars around this 4-kilometre lap, so track position is everything. What's left on the clock? 1 minute on the nose. What can people do? For the vast majority, they'll just be starting their final lap.
Cheever improves to go up to 3rd. Kobe Powell's here in the Aston Martin. We haven't seen much of Aston Martin this morning. The 21 car, the Come2U car, coming into Sector 3. It's been an okay Sector 1. How's Sector 2? Okay as well at the moment. So I think this is going to be top 16 where he is at the moment. He is fastest silver, which is important, obviously, in the championship.
Yeah, well, he's sitting down in 16th overall. He's just 1 position and 13 thousandths of a second faster than the second car in the Gold Cup class. So 6 points between Jamie Day and Kobe Powell's and the Gazzo Panis Challenger, the Mercedes from Boots and VDS. So this final lap, and Powell's improves. He moves up to 14th overall, puts a bit of space, but time-wise, well, the checker flag's going to come down on this session in about just over 10 seconds' time. What are we going to get as response from the Aurelian Panis, Cesar Gazzo, number 10, Boots and VDS Mercedes?
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Oh, yes, Marvin.
I'm not inside the top 25. That has been a disaster. We thought it was going to be bad. I thought a second would cover the top 25 at least. That shows you race 1 is going to be a difficult proposition for the 32. Dinst here in the 81 Winwood car, sister car to the Manfilter car, the bright yellow one. Very different liveries, but run out the same stable at the moment. Mercedes not really with a strong showing this morning, are they? Only 2 cars there inside the top 20. Dinst breaks the line. What can he do? 32.0 goes 15th in this session. And yeah, the tyres definitely only have 2 laps. I haven't seen anyone improve on the third flyer. Can Houston do something about the statement I've just made? The tyre seems to be hanging on okay. Middle sector has fallen away. And of course, once the tyre goes, sector 1 might be okay, 2 might be average, but 3 might fall away.
Right, just want to speak out for Alexei Nesov. He's standing in, replacing Ezekiel Perez compact. He's the second fastest of the silver class drivers, driving the number 99 Trezor attempt to racing Audi. So for a lot of people, it's the final roll of the dice. The checkered flag has fallen and greeting the last of the flying laps. Still, Dennis Marshall, the 74 Ferrari from Kessel Racing, leading outright. Bastien Bus, also in a bronze class car. He is second fastest, but we've got 3 Ferraris in the top 4 positions. The only interloper is that Bastien Bus Lion Speed car. Can Ricardo Feller do anything about that? He's down in 9th position overall at the moment, but no, he's decided that is that, in he reports.
What a phenomenal pit entry here at Valencia. It's flat out, then down to 50Ks. So drivers there. And there we see, I think that's one of the laps of the season to claim the Rover Motor Oil pole position award. Over 2.5 tenths clear. The only man in the 1 minute 30s that I thought we'd need to be on pole. Great lap, Dennis Marshall.
What is the procedure? Go out, set fastest lap. The second part of the procedure is know precisely where to park to collect your, to get the plaudits there, but neat, tidy, but over 1/4 of a second clear. That was an outstanding lap. Bear in mind, they get 2 flying laps effectively. There will be traffic. There were 23 cars out there knitted across this tight circuit with its 15 turns. It was about staying calm, staying cool, and not going over the track limits. Quite a lot of times were taken away, but Dennis Marshall, he probably could have put his second fastest lap and still been very, very well placed. But that was a supreme lap for Kessel Racing. Ferrari's looking very good. This one here, the number 93 car from Ziggo Tempesta Racing, also very much in the hunt. 3rd all overall at the moment. But we roll the dice again. 2 more sessions for both of these 2 groups.
Yeah, and Ferrari very strong, of course. There's 3 inside the top 4. 6 manufacturers represented inside the top 10, though. So once again, balanced performance working very well. And obviously, balanced performance has to deal with so many different circuits. So you can have one balanced performance Suzuka last weekend. That wouldn't work here at Valencia, so there has to be on the front foot. And Eddie Cheever will be happy in the 93 car. They've had a difficult season. They seem to have had a magnet switched on for penalties in the race. They'll be hoping that attraction has fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, the switch would have been flicked away. So, quickfire, 2 sessions down. Fastest in the first was a Ferrari, and that was Alessio Rivera. And a different team also running a Ferrari, fastest in the second. You can see it down there, the blue and white Ferrari. I think that livery is very crisp, and it's been at the front all season long. However, they are being kept very honest by Bastien Bus and Basha Mardini in the bronze class in their Lion Speed GP Porsche. So let's head down to hear the thoughts of our Rover Pole reward winner, Dennis Marshall.
Taking the Rover pole with a beautiful lap, and if you're going to do it anywhere, Valencia is the place to do it. It's a difficult place to convert that to race, but what sort of car have you got there?
Yeah, a rapid one, I would say.
Yeah.
Car was very good the whole week. I think I never felt so comfortable in the car. I think already lap 1 in paid test on Thursday, I felt super comfortable in the car on track, and big shout out to the Kessel Racing team. They gave me a brilliant car. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And handing over to Mary Giovanna, who's going to hand you the Rover Pole Award. Congratulations.
Well, neat and tidy there, and Rover Pole Award. Smiles all round for Dennis Marshall. He was picked out as a possible favourite, and he absolutely delivered on that. So here we have the grid for this afternoon's race. Dennis Marshall, Dustin Blattner, Kessel Racing Ferrari, clear by, well, we didn't think a margin was as big as it is, 0.263 of a second. Great job from the Flying Dane, Bastien Bus in the best of the Porsches to be second. And Eddie Cheever really picking up on the season. We're looking at 3 Ferraris in the top 4. They are going well. He's ahead of Alessio Rivera, top of the Pro Class drivers. Top in gold, it's Tom Fleming, Garage 59. McLaren in 5th overall. Second in that class, championship leader in the gold class, Thierry Vermeulen down in 10th. But bronze drivers benefiting from a track that was clearing up very nicely, packing out 5 in the top 10. Top in silver, Kobe Powers and Jamie Day. Kobe set the time, and they will take pole in their own class in 14th overall. And a lot of big names way down. Championship leader outright, Charles Weerts and Kelvin van den Ende, 1 second down, but worse than that, 24 positions down on pole position. That is a disaster, and I tell you what, it's going to have to be laser focus and a little bit of complicity from other drivers around them. But you know, the scope for getting things wrong when you're on a charge from down there, it's set against you.
I'm excited for 2:15. Why? That's when we will see this grid go into action for a 1-hour sprint race. What is Weerts going to do? If you go conservative, you get hit from behind. If you go aggressive, you take your front end off, and the championship suddenly flows away from you.
Yeah, and again, sitting high above the circuit, it's been a battleground, and it was about getting it right, not getting it wrong, and Charles Weerts had to back out of his first flying lap, and that must be something he is ruining big time. I think he'd already worked out he'd exceeding track limit. There was traffic up ahead of him. He went out early on thinking he'd work the traffic. Team WRT would have said, you'll fall into a lovely spot. He came out behind a couple of other drivers. One of them got out of the way, the other one didn't. First flying lap, ruined. For everybody else, it was about how much space have I got in front of me? How many corners may I exceed track limits? There were 6 points in particular around this 15-turn circuit, and even the best were taking a tumble. But as we worked through the session, various names worked to the top, but the Ferraris were looking good, and Alessia Rivera to the top of the pile. Car 51, it's shown speed, it's had a win so far this season, but in next to no time, we swapped over, and then it was the chance of the bronze and silver class cars to go around the circuit and try and pick their way around to the best times overall. The quick times really began to come, and Dennis Marchal was on the rise in the Kessel Racing Ferrari. Eddie Giva going well, and also Bastien Boost pushing and probing. We wondered if someone would get below 1:31. Only one driver did. Here is the man, Dennis Marchal, top of the table by over a quarter of a second. Pole belongs to him.